Hi, I'm John with Orange ModWorks, and in this series of videos I'll be going over how to install the various springs we have available in our store. There'll be some tips and tricks and just some general guidelines with spring installation. Alright, now the Stampede is a little more complicated than most of your blasters, and in this one I've already taken out all of the screws. Unlike the Vulcan, you do have to take the screws out on the orange part. So once you have that done, crack open your blaster, and you can't remove the two halves entirely because of these wires, so just slide it out of the way. And next, you're going to want to remove the jam door and all of these silver screws, which are already out on this one. And that lets you get to the plunger assembly. I recommend that you remove these screws to get at the plunger rather than these, because there's a spring back here in the trigger catch and you might lose it. So this collar holds the front of the plunger in place, and by removing these screws you can lift it out. Now this is two pieces, so be careful not to lose them. And then to pull out the whole assembly, push up on the trigger catch and it will come out. Remove that. You can just leave this spring, and this is what we're going to work with. You need to remove these two silver screws to get to the direct plunger. And there's your spring. From here you just slide this off and take, this is a 2X spring, and slide it on. Now when you're this far, you can go ahead and take out your air restrictors and beef up the O-ring seal, but actually this has a pretty good seal already, so I'm going to go drill out the AR and I'll be right back. Okay, here is the plunger assembly. I just drilled out the AR using this very large drill bit. It's a 7/16 drill bit, in case you're interested. It's very easy. With this size, you can just go straight through. It's not big enough to damage the breech. Alright, let's set that aside. Now you're going to take your plunger assembly with the new spring, and at this point you can pad the plunger, but I'm not going to worry too much because this is just the 2X spring right here. So make sure you get all the debris out of your plunger tube. And then from there, reassemble your plunger. And you're going to have to fight with the spring here and hold it in, like so. Make sure this hook is pointed up, not down. Next, reinsert these screws, and it'll be good for installation. I like these direct plunger systems because everything is self-contained. You're not fighting with springs once you get the spring into the plunger. Alright, one thing guys, make sure this piece is pointing down. Earlier I had it up, it got rotated when I was trying to fix this. So make sure this square is pointing down, not up, or it won't work. Okay, from here, you're going to want to reattach the plunger retention plate, as I like to call it. And it's going to go on using these small silver screws. And during the course of your Stampede modding, if you stumble across this, this is the sight. If you're wondering where that goes, it's nothing too important. So okay, now that you're this far, you should be able to function check to make sure everything is in properly. And to do that, you're going to simulate firing by pulling on the breech. And then that little square I mentioned earlier is what activates the trigger lock. or the plunger lock, because it's not really connected to the trigger. So pull forward till it fires, like that. And then it will reset. So just hook your finger under this and pull it forward. There you go. And as this spring slams it back, it resets the plunger under this trigger catch. It will not fire without the jam door unless you go and cut some wires or glue down the switches. But it's probably a good idea to keep the locks. That way you won't fire on an empty chamber, or it helps reduce dry fire. Alright, there you go. And if it's not going together, it's probably a wire or your magazine catch. The two halves of the magazine catch have to line up in order for the shell to close. So if it's splitting right here, just activate the catch and it will snap together. This goes for most of the CS series of blasters. There you go. Just check your seams and screw everything back together. That's it for the Stampede spring install. Thanks for watching.